of both. So friction, to me, the first word that comes to mind is resistance. So when you find that you are being resistant or you are facing a lot of resistance, that means you definitely don't have momentum going. And what we know is that we probably would do better by following the path of least resistance. I think that's when you can really get some momentum going. So instead of trying to, just push against everything that is actually happening in your life, see how you can probably go with the flow or how you can create the flow in the way that you want it to go. But you have to be aware. You have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to be aware of your environment. You have to be aware of how you feel, aware of the vibration that you're putting out in the world, not just the vibrations that are coming at you, but what kind of vibrations are you putting out there? Are you putting vibrations out into the universe so the universe can just serve you what it is you want? And that way you can have a momentum that's like a magic carpet ride, because it's possible. Or the universe can serve you some experiences and you can be like, I don't want that. I don't want that. And completely complain about everything that is happening that is really happening for your good. So we have to be mindful. Are we creating momentum in our life? Are we creating the friction? Because it's not the people in our life that is creating the friction. They're just giving us a mirror example of what we're doing. So are you creating friction in your life? Are you creating momentum? Are you creating friction in your relationships? Are you creating momentum? Because a relationship that is not growing is dying. So I equate friction with the dying and momentum with the living and the growing of the relationship. But what we know is to keep a momentum up, we have to feed the momentum. Think about a ball. You're pushing a ball down the street. Now it's going to roll, and it might even roll a little bit on its own, but at some point you have to exert a little energy. You have to exert a little effort. So what are you exerting energy and effort towards? Are you exerting energy and effort towards getting to your desired space? Are you getting are you putting more effort into fighting what's going on? I don't live in the world too much and I don't know what's all going on in the news and politics, but what I do hear is a lot of friction. People being averse to everything. People are averse to the weather outside. What's the point of being averse to the weather? How does that really serve you? If it's snowing, take advantage of the snow. Go make a snow angel. If it's raining, that means, hey, get ready for a rainbow. If it's sunny, get out there and get some of that sun on your skin and soak up some of that good vitamin D versus saying, oh, it's hot out there. So what I want us to do maybe in this coming week is think about, are we creating momentum in our life or are we creating friction? Now I have to move on because I am just ready to talk to this person that is waiting to talk to you. Okay, now let me tell y'all something about this guy. I would run into this guy in random places and I knew who he was because I knew he was a Toastmaster because we're Toastmasters. But he wasn't just a regular Toastmaster. I mean, I see Toastmasters everywhere and I don't get excited when I see another Toastmaster. But when I see this Toastmaster, for some reason, the chemicals in my body be like, oh, that guy. I didn't even know his name at first. It's just I knew his energy. I felt like I knew his energy imprint. Him and this other lady that he tends to walk around with, they both have this energy imprint that had left a mark on me. So anytime I would go to a conference where the two of these folks would be, I'm going to look for them. They don't know it, but I'm looking for them. Like, hey, but I randomly would run into this person, and I don't think it was by coincidence. I don't think it was by happenstance. I don't think it was an accident. I think it was divine timing. I think it was divine connection. So this person that I think I'm divinely connected with, his name is Mr. Robert Kittridge. So Robert, welcome. Let's get you unmuted. Unmute yourself and say hello to everybody.
Good morning. How are you, ma'am? Wow, what a ball of energy in the morning.
I tell people I do not wake up like this. I wake up more like a angry monster is what I feel like, and even if I don't, I can turn into an angry monster really fast. And so every morning I wake up, I have to meditate twice. I feel like I do a meditation for my mind. I do a meditation for my body. I have to read, I have to journal. I do a gratitude journal every day. I read affirmations. I have to do the work every morning. If not, this is not me. So so that's what I do. No, that's me either creating friction, because I definitely can create some friction. I know in my house, oh Lord, I wake up ready is what I feel like. I'm like the monster ready to eat, or I'm like a lioness. I'm ready to hunt. So whoever is in my eyesight is prey. It's an unfortunate thing. Unfortunate, we'll call it what you want. We got to have who we are. Is that not right?
Well, so a couple things there, right on. Yeah, I've never seen you like that. So, okay, right. And you're right. Well, we don't have to live who we are. Most people don't live who they truly are, right? They put on the facade. You and I have seen it, and you are authentic. And that's what, to really live that life that's fulfilled and everything else, it's being authentic. Now, do we have to? I don't believe we have to. It's up to our choice to whether we choose to. And you and I choose to do that every day, every day.
Yes. I'm glad you mentioned the word choice, because that's a big word to me, because I feel like I have a choice of being happy or being upset. I have a choice of being abundant or living in lack. I think everything is a choice. We just haven't been told that. I don't think that we have a choice. What do you think?
Oh my God, this conversation is starting off hot. Well, so let's look at that, right? It's one of God's greatest gifts he's given us is free will, right? But there's a universal law called the law of polarity. And it says for one thing, there's always an opposite. So, free will is a great opportunity, and it's a great danger. Right. I mean, it is, the greatest danger is God's given us free will. It's given us that choice. But as we go through life, our choices are clouded by conditioning. We're not making typically decisions through our true self. We're making them through our conditioning. And when we uncover that true self, and you've stumbled on it now, you and I were talking about this as we started, when we start to clear away and know who we truly are, then we can make the choices that are aligned with our purpose, our greater good, and then thus we can impact the world in an entirely different way.
Yeah. It's all about choice. And I want to say thank you for informing people that they have choices in life, because so many people don't know. So they need people like me and you to let them know, like, yes, you have permission. Like sometimes you find yourself, I don't know if you do, I know you work with a lot of folks, but I find myself sometimes giving people permission to be themselves, or giving themselves permission that really they should give themselves, but they've never known, So I want to talk about awakening, because I know that's something that you and I have in common. We know about this awakening thing, and we know the truth about awakening. I think a lot of times when people think, oh, when there's an awakening, that it's like kumbaya, and it's like, and just sparkles and glitter and everything is calm. And I believe that is not true. What do you think?
You're right. That's what they think about. Right. I don't know how many times in the last, and I've had a huge awakening now. I say mine started in 2016, but I've been on the path of it for years. I just didn't know it. And what I find is that awakening doesn't make life easier. It makes life, I call it delicious, right? It's just because you look at things differently. And again, as you're doing this and uncovering, you also get to process things differently. And so my troubles have not went away. I still got to pay the rent and put gas in the car and put food on the table and worry about where my next client's going to come from and blah, 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 blah. And I can do all that. I can absolutely do all that. Or again, part of my design, like yours, is to respond. So what I've really learned how to do and reduce the friction is respond to it. And
Yes.
life then, I mean, if we go with the flow of life and boy, it just gets delicious. It's just beautiful.
It
I call it
does.
right now, people ask me and I call it heaven on earth. I know what that feels like.
Hmm. I always believe that heaven or hell is where you choose it to be. You know, now as a young person, I had went through this thing where I was like, I don't believe in the Bible. I think that because I was very scientific. But then I kind of had this revelation along those same lines, and it just shifted my whole thinking. Um, I always say I started on this life because of the Bible. I would tell people I read the Bible too much and I believed what it said. That's what was the original, I want to say, step to my awakening. From there, other books came into my awareness and I just started paying attention more. And it seems the more I did that is the more I guess, quote unquote, woke up. I don't know. It's like I started seeing things in a different light. I started feeling things in a different light. And the more I searched for that feeling is the more intensified it became, and I loved it. Now I seemed like a little bit of a weirdo for a while because I was living this completely different life. I'm talking about this stuff that nobody in my community or my family has ever heard of. But I was like, I don't care. We're doing this. I'm doing this. I believe that this works. And I've just been living this life that I believe works for the most part for the past 15 plus years. Now I had a segment of years where I didn't because I was convinced that the way I was living was wrong and that I needed to
Mm.
do what normal people do.
There's that judgment. There's that judgment that comes in them. There's that conditioning of judgment. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And after a while, I went broke. Life was disgusting versus delicious. And I was like, no, this is not working for me. Now, I know my way of life might not be the way that most people know, but I'm going back to it. And I've spent the past like 5 years, in a sense, really reconditioning my mind to get back to that place so I can be what I feel like is on the vibrational level where I belong. Versus being in some kind of low vibrational space or being around low vibrational people. It just doesn't, I don't fit. I don't fit in low vibrational spaces. It doesn't work well with me. That's where I experience friction.
Well, here's the thing, Mimi. I'm just gonna point out a couple of things you're saying because I love this. Is that we are not designed to fit in. We are designed to be unique. We have a DNA, a design, every single one of us. And, we were talking about a modality now that both you and I are familiar with, but we are designed unique. There's only one of us. And all the combinations of all the centers and all the gates and all the blah, 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 there's only one. It's society that conditions us to fit in. Mm-hmm. It's society that educates and trains and develops us to be in the box. And you and I don't fit, and some people we know don't fit in the box. And of course, the world's going to look at, and I've been through it too, right? Some of my friends are like, "Oh, what's happened? I want to catch up." And then, I start talking, and you can just almost see them feel like they're. I mean, it's like they're like, "Which potion did you drink?" Or which, it's like, And here's what I've become to, and that's okay, because that's their choice. That's their world. And I don't need their approval.
No.
I don't need their approval.
Mm-mm. So speaking of design, that we all have our own unique design, can we talk about human design a little bit?
We absolutely can.
So how did this come into your awareness with the human design?
Well, let me give you just a snapshot of where I've been.
Okay.
So I think you've heard part of this story. 1982, back of a police car was my kind of personal growth awakening. It was nothing bad. It was really a stupid damn thing anyway. But it was where I first inside started to feel like that's not where I belonged. And trust me, I was on a path of drugs and alcohol. And I mean, inside, there was just something that went, what the hell are you doing? I started reading. And one of my friends gave me the book, The Magical Power of the Mind. It was my first book. And when I was moving and unpacking, I actually found that copy of this book. So it's kind of cool. fast forward, I mean, I have been, I've been a member of the John Maxwell team. I've been in personal growth seminars. I've dealt with personal coaches. I've grown just in little steps,
Yes.
little incremental steps, as I call them, which has all been great. So in June of 2020, after some major changes of my life, choices that I took that I didn't ever think I could take. So I was already kind of starting to live in this authenticity. And a friend of mine says, you need to meet this friend of mine, you need to meet because you guys are on the same wavelength. You talk the same stuff. You need to meet. And we did, met for coffee, instant connection. We shared stories, we shared stuff. And at the end, she was like, I think I've got something I want to introduce to you. And it was human design.
Okay.
Oh my God. It has made such an impact on me. I first to look at my chart, my design, and see why I've done everything I've done.
Yeah.
And not as a good or bad, not as a judgment, not anything else, but to start to understand that for my mind, how my mind works is that our human design is our wiring diagram of our energy, our centers, how we take in energy, how we release energy, how we process energy, and it's not about the mind, it's not about the thinking.
All right.
It's about our mind is never our inner authority. No. Our authority is whatever that is for your design. Everybody's got different. And so it is, I've dug in, I have peeled back the layers of conditioning. I took I've walked away from organizations that I've been part of for years because I really understood that I got involved with them for the wrong reason for me. Not, I was trying to prove myself. I uncovered a memory that at 18 months saw my mom and my real father arguing about what to do with me because I wasn't wanted. And I made up a story that I wasn't wanted and I would have to prove myself that please love me, please love me, please love me. And to figure out that I'm just love. I don't need love. But, and so, okay, I'll take a breath here. So that's how I was introduced to human design.
Yes. I love it. I love it. For the people listening, how can they find out their human design?
Yes. Well, and I've thought about that. So if your listeners will go to Free Gift from Robert.
Okay.
Free Gift from Robert. There's a survey there, like a 10-question survey to see if you're sabotaging your life. And then we can connect. We can figure out how to get your design taken care of. And there's lots of different options on where to go with it with coaching or different things. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Free Gift from Robert.
Free Gift from Robert. Y'all make sure y'all write that down, freegiftfromrobert.com. But please believe I will put a link in the show description or wherever you are seeing this or listening to this. Unless you're on Clubhouse Live, there's nowhere to do that. But what you can do is what I am going to encourage Mr. Robert to do is to put that link in his Clubhouse bio. So that way, if you are following him on Clubhouse, go ahead and find that website and tap into this information that he is delivering to us because it is important. It is crucial. The little bit that I have learned, ladies and gentlemen, love bugs, about this human design has been phenomenal. Even before we started this call, Robert gave me a little bit about myself. He saw my chart and he was like, oh, this. I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm telling you guys, get the chart, and contact Mr. Robert so he can, get with you and maybe get you some coaching and work with where you are. Because what I believe about him is that he will work with you where you are to get you to where you desire to be. Am I on the right track?
Oh, girl, you've hit it nail on the head. There was nothing in there about me, right? It's all about where you're starting. I don't care where you've been, and we'll discover that, right? And we'll go through it. People got to, and again, that's part of the human design has allowed me to process my past now through what it is versus what I've made it to be versus the story I've made up for it. And that has allowed me to detach from the emotions of the story that's held me stuck.
I love it. So we'll have to talk about this more, maybe outside of the show, because we are running out of time and I want to be sure that we get to answer a question. So we're going to ask if there is anybody that is live on Clubhouse with us right now. And if you have a question that you would like to ask either myself or Mr. Kittridge, this is your chance. Go ahead and raise your hand. If not, we will ask. Oh, we have someone. Here we go. So if you don't mind, this will be recorded. If that's okay with you, go ahead and ask your question.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. And can you pronounce your name for me? I mess up names bad, and yours I know I would. So Chanita. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, Chanita, is if you'll go to Free Gift from Robert, you're going to get a survey that's going to give you some thoughts to think about how your life is and if you're sabotaging it. What I'm going to do is for those that are on this podcast, I'm going to give you your human design chart with your strategy and authority for free.
Ooh.
Now that's not with a debrief. That's not with coaching. That is just your strategy and authority, so you can look at that a little bit deeper. How's that?
So while you're so Miss Chanita, while you're
awesome.
on,
I look forward to working on it.
Right. Miss Chanita, while you're on stage, do you have another question that you would like to get answered today?
You're muted there, Mimi.
Uh-oh. Okay. All right, we have another person coming up to the stage, Miss Victoria and Miss Kim. If you all have a question, go ahead and ask your question now. Victoria, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just, I haven't figured that out yet, Victoria. That's good, but I changed that page, and I'm going to pull back the curtain here and give you some secret, right? I changed the page for the podcast I'm on. So I'm always using kind of that same, so I'll know when it comes in from this, that you were on this and you're a friend of Mimi's, and I'll be able to do that.
Awesome. Awesome. Victoria is one of my favorite clients. A little plug there. Good morning, Kim.
That's, well, very good. I love how you've listened through everything that we've been all over the place talking about. And that's exactly right. Do you live your life by design, in alignment with your design, or are you sabotaging? And when I say sabotaging it, you're not consciously sabotaging it. This is stuff that's inside of you that you don't even know is driving you. And that could be sabotaging you in what you really want, no matter what you read, no matter the knowledge you have.
Nice.
How about complimentary? How's that? I like the word complimentary. Yeah, there's nothing in life that's free, is it?
No, it's not. It's not.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to now ask a question of you, Robert, and you, if you don't mind giving me some advice. You've seen a little bit of my chart, and we kind of talked about how a part of me knows that I don't need to prove anything to anybody. But then there's also this part that is looking for recognition, that is looking for confirmation and validation. What would you advise me to do? How do I, how can I overcome that? Or what are some tactics maybe that can make me focus more on self and my design, maybe, and living by design?
Boy, great question. Great question. So here's the first thing: accept it the way it is. There's nothing here to overcome. There's no challenge. There's no problem. There's nothing wrong with your design. You're not missing anything. It is perfect for you. So that's the first thing. Second is, when I look at it, you have an open G center, which is about direction, and then an open heart, which is about willpower, which is about kind of that self-worth. So open, but I mean it's undefined, which means it's open to conditioning from the outside world.
Ah,
I know somewhat of your upbringing. So you were exposed to at a very young age a lot of probably scarcity conditioning, a lot of and I know that's one of your passions is that social economic, underserved right?
yes,
Is
yes.
all of that you were able to take in, you didn't even know it, and with an open center, we then amplify it.
Mm,
So you may get challenged on something. You may wake up and feel, "What the hell am I doing today? Da 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 da. Right? Who am I?" And there's not self behaviors. Your not
mm,
self behavior is always looking for love, or always looking for direction, or always which direction I need to go.
yes.
What you do is you create the direction and be with it. Be with it. You create your self worth and be with it. Now,
Mm,
with an open center, you're going to get challenged on that a lot, a lot. And I heard you
yeah.
say, you're overcome. It's not your thinking. It's not
Yeah.
here. It's here. It's our body. And it's getting in line with our body and how it feels. Does that help? I mean, we can go
Yes.
deeper. Absolutely. I was just real quick going, whoa, right. Trying to pull some things
No,
out.
that was great. And we are out of time today. So I definitely want to thank you so much for being present in this space, in this realm of the universe, in now. I know you could have picked any time to land on earth, and I'm glad that you picked now and that you were able to come and bless us with your knowledge and your energy. It has been great. It's phenomenal. So thank you so, so, so very much. And my little backdoor secret is, you're the first white guy to come on my show.
And I'll tell you, I love when people have that target audience, right? I mean,
Yes.
and everybody, right? And I remember when we did High on Motivation, you're like, "Well, you don't meet my demographics." I said, "Okay," and I'm okay with that. And that's the thing about it is, but just to push a little bit more is if we can operate in our design, our true design,
Mhm.
and not the color of our skin, not the background, not the what would life be like?
Oh,
What would life be like if we saw people as they were designed?
yes,
The way
yes.
God or the creator or whoever you want to call, right?
Hmm.
Universe has designed us, not what color that we've chosen of skin to have. Because I
Yes,
loved your statement. Thank you for choosing to be here. I firmly believe that now.
yes.
I know that I chose to go through everything I've went through to
Hmm.
be able to do what I'm going to do.
Yes, yes. That's what I totally believe. I wouldn't trade in any of my yesterdays. I believe they all have value, no matter how ugly and stinky some of them they have been, but I'm grateful to be here and in the now, and
Well,
doing
I'm
the work that I'm
honored.
doing.
Yeah, and I'm honored to be the first white guy that's been on your show. I love it. I'll embrace it. I'll take it on.
Yes,
Right? I'll
yes.
take
And
it
I
on.
and I get interest all the time. I get emails all the time where people want to come on my show and I'm just like, no, no, no. And it's more of a because I wanted to be sure that there was a platform for female and minority. So it's not just about color of skin, but just those who haven't had as much of a platform in the past. And that was
Absolutely.
when I set out with this show, that was the goal is I wanted a platform for ladies and, and people of color to come and share whatever it is. But on the flip side of that, this is a resource for females and people of color. And you are a resource for us.
Mm, thank
Okay.
you.
And that's what
Thank
I
you.
see is that you are a resource for us. And so I'm ever so grateful for you participating in Get Home Motivation Live. I'm so grateful for you coming on today's show. So I just really want to send my love and thanks to you. Thank you so very much, Robert. It's made a tremendous difference. I think this is going to be a great show and I can't wait to hear it myself.
All right. Well, you take care.
All right, everybody, thank you for joining us. This is the Get Home Motivation live, not live, but this is the Get Home Motivation show. Tune in with us every week. We'll be back next Wednesday, same time, same place. Have a great day. All right. All right. Okay. I don't know if I ended the room. Is that a thing? I think it's over. Okay. All right. Let me switch headphones. Okay. And